Hi, I'm Jens Hühn. Welcome to Matchmerize, the web-based data matching tool for cases where artificial intelligence or automation tools just aren't smart enough. This video is about data matching and what is it good for, and about Matchmerize and a small tour through this new idea and approach on how to match data. So let's start with data matching. This is an art or a technique to combine different data sources, for example lists or tables, to create an overarching insight and value. If you're an Excel user, you will know it as a VLookup or an index match function. If you're a database user, you will know it as a table join. All of these have in common that you need ID columns with unique identifiers which are matched through an equality relationship. This is pretty simple, but not in all cases are equality relationships available where you can use the ID columns because there are no such ID columns. And in such a case, you can use some text column maybe to combine things, maybe names, for example. Therefore, you have text-based similarity approaches or fuzzy similarity approaches. These approaches compare how similar the text is in terms of changes of characters or letters that bring one text to the other text. Levenstein distance, for example, there are many of them. This works as well, but it assumes that there is a kind of text-based similarity, obviously. But what it can't do is to bring in additional knowledge, background knowledge. Let me give you an example where you need background knowledge to create a matching. Consider the term Barack Obama and President of the United States of America, number 44. So there is no ID, and there's also no text-based similarity that are very different terms. Both approaches will fail. But most people will know that Barack Obama was President of the United States number 44. So if you bring in the right background knowledge, you can create a match which is not achievable through artificial intelligence or automation tools. And this is what Matchmerize is about, because manual matching is a toil. You have really long lists, and to combine these lists doesn't make fun, and it doesn't work well too. It creates a lot of chaos if you start matching a list of president names with characteristics of those presidents by hand or using a spreadsheet. But Matchmerize was built for those kind of situations where you bring in your knowledge and create these matchings effectively and efficiently and having fun with it, because Matchmerize will do all the work and take things into structure and into order, avoiding chaotic situations which you would face using a spreadsheet tool, for example. So this is the benefit. Creating data matchings in situations where you cannot really do it programmatically. So that was a lot of introduction before we come to the main part, and I would like to invite you through the small tour of Matchmerize. Let's go. To start working with Matchmerize, all you need is a modern browser like Safari, Chrome, Edge, or even Internet Explorer. All are fine. Then you go to www.matchmerize.com. Here you can start. You won't need any add-in. It's all on the page. You can start by changing your language first if you prefer. Afterwards, you sign up for a new account or you log in into an existing account, either with your email address or using LinkedIn. Once you're logged in, you come to this page here. It contains the project list, but right now this list is empty, so there are two options available, as you can see. Either you create a new project or you start with an example. For this video, I will choose the latter. This example is about display names, which were scraped from 3 online retailers. To compare prices, we need to match these displays by their quite cluttered name. And for matching this data, we will be using Matchmerize. So here I have the display list example. I have the owner role, which means that I have all permissions and that I can do basically anything here. And the project is live, meaning that matching can start any time. Let's go to the details page. First of all, here's an explanation of what to do. This is really helpful if you have team members helping you match the data. Below we have the project characteristics and you can edit this information very quickly in line. Next to it we have some project statistics, and at the very bottom you see the recent project events. For example, you see that I just renamed the project name. So the second tab here is the one for managing users. In case that I don't plan to work on this project alone, I have the option to invite other team members. All I need is their email address, and I need to decide whether the user's role is owner, manager, or worker. So for example, the worker can merely help to match the data, but has no permission to do any changes to this project. The third tab is the one for managing the data sets. Here I can upload files, both as comma-separated value files and Excel files. This is supported at the moment. As I'm working here on the example project, there are already files available, all uploaded as Excel files, in total with up to 710 display names. In the next tab, you can see the matching workbench. This is where the action happens. On the first peek it might look a little bit overwhelming, but actually it's pretty simple to use. Let me show you. We have here the master list, the candidate list, and the match list. It works like this. Entries from the master list need to be matched against entries from the candidate list. Entries from the candidate list, which were matched to the selected master list entry, are moved over to the match list. So, let's start. I select the first entry in the master list, which is an Acer screen. The text here contains lots of information about the screen. Most of the information is not really relevant for matching. This would be a nightmare for a text-based matching algorithm. It would go totally nuts. Fortunately, I know how a display name looks like, and so I recognize these characters over here. In order to find them in the candidate list, I could scroll through the list and search it myself. Or I copy these characters and paste them into the candidate filter over here. As you can see, the list was filtered. It only shows the screens which contains the characters which I just put into this filter field. And all I have to do now is to walk through the list and create the matchings by clicking this button. Here on the left hand side you can see the entry which I just matched. It has the number of matchings increased to 4. So this Acer display is matched to 4 other displays, and you can see them on the right hand side in the match list. At the time I created these matchings, other entries from the master list got also the matching count increased to 4. These are the displays which I just matched, so Matchmerize did all the work. This is really helpful as it shows me that I do not need to work on these entries anymore. They were just completed. This will speed up matching a lot. Another function worth mentioning is that the blue indicator over here is missing now. This indicator is like in an email program showing that a message was not read yet. And here it means that if it is missing, I do not need to look at the display name again. So let's jump over these entries until we have the next one with a 0. There I copy the identifier again and paste it into the candidate filter. Nothing found, so I proceed. So select the identifier, copy it, paste it, and create the matching. This is how it goes. Pretty simple and also very fast. Well, in this example, we are in a fortunate situation that we can find the identifier easily. There is not too much clutter in the display names. Most of the entries are rather long, as you can see here, but the situation could be worse. To filter the display names for the information that most likely matters, there's something else which I want to show you. Here in the Advanced tab, on the left-hand side, there is the character blacklist. So for example, when I want to remove all percentage signs from the candidate list entries, I can do this here. So you can see in the candidate list, when I enter the percentage sign, that the entries change accordingly and that the filtering of the blacklist works. On the right-hand side, there's the term relevance filter. This works as follows. It compares the terms of the candidate list entries. The more often a term appears across many candidates, the less likely it contains differentiating pieces of information. So let me drag the slider to the right to show you. The more I move it to the right, the harsher the filtering gets. All terms which seem to be irrelevant for matching will be hidden from the candidate list entries. This is a really helpful feature of Matchmerize, which you don't have in other tools, in particular not in spreadsheets. However, how helpful this feature really is depends on the data. The more background knowledge required, the lesser should be filtered here. But if the terms are more technical, like these display names, then this function might be a game changer. It removes the clutter and helps to find the identifier fast. So once I finish, or even in between, I can look at what I've created so far in the Results tab. Matchmerize will compile a consolidated list of matching pairs here. Such a list is very helpful for further processing of the data matchings. Here, this processing is the price comparison of the displays. Right now the list is empty, as it might take some time to compile. So I need to click refresh first of all. After a few seconds, I have here the list of all matching pairs. It contains lots of helpful information. So here we have the left-hand side of a matching pair containing the Acer display name, and here we have another display name for the right-hand side. The left-hand side display name came from display list B, and the right-hand side came from display list A. As I scroll down, you see all the matchings. In total, Matchmerize created 22 matching pairs. The result list contains also further helpful pieces of information. First of all, the group. Remember that we just matched 5 Acer displays together? All pairs between those 5 screens are one group, for example. They are group 1. Next to it, we have the interpolated flag. Here it's all false because I'm working all alone. But when you're working with multiple people, Matchmerize creates a consolidated list, and if there are matching pairs missing, Matchmerize will create these pairs automatically. This way you get a contradiction-free, complete result. Next to it we have the direction flag. It's either -1 or +1. It's required to distinguish the pairs AB and BA. Finally, we have the identifier columns, which contain the original ID from the datasets. To make best use of these matchings, it is possible to download the result list as an Excel file. So just click here and the Excel file will be created. After downloading it, you will see the very same list, just in Excel. And this is really helpful for further usage. Welcome back. This was the small tour through Matchmerize. It was quite a lot, but there are so many new things in Matchmerize. I just needed to show you them. And before you take off, there's one thing which I need to show you as well, but just briefly. Imagine the situation that you might not have that much time. In such a case, Matchmerize allows you to invite your whole team, or maybe just a few of them, to help you match the data. And it's not about delegating work to someone else because you're full of matching data yourself. Maybe this is the case too, but there's an additional benefit to inviting your team, and it's called an ensemble effect, because your team members might have different opinions regarding matchings. Maybe some people see a matching where others don't. And Matchmerize allows you to see a list of their matchings and to also see the support of each matching, how many people voted for a matching. And this gives you an overview of the strength of this relationship between two data items. And it brings you also into the situation of a Roman emperor, because with this list you can do a brief check and give it a thumb up if you think it's correct, or a thumb down if it isn't the case. And the benefit of this is that Matchmerize will use your judging to create the consolidated result list of all team members. And this brings the quality of matching to a new level, in particular when the situation is not that difficult and people are really having different opinions. So this is something which is not available in spreadsheets and also not available in automation tools, and it really helps to raise the bar of the quality, because ensemble effects are also used in machine learning and it's a well-known approach, so why don't we have it here as well? So that was the tour through Matchmerize. At this point I would like to invite you to come over to matchmerize.com, learn what other things are available there, and to try Matchmerize your own. You will enjoy it for sure. So, see you at Matchmerize, and goodbye.